The Switch was pretty much Nintendo's best console, both in terms of hardware and game library. With the Switch 2 officially out, I wanted to reflect on and rank every Mario game on the Switch 1 before we move on to a bigger, better, more expensive era of Nintendo. Seriously, just lower the price. Anyway, before we get started, I just wanted to say that this is one of the hardest lists I've ever had to make. Making this list really opened my eyes to how lucky we were to get all of these Mario games. Some of them are up there with the best Nintendo has ever made. With that said, if you don't agree with where I put a certain game, just know that I love pretty much all of them to death. And I'd even go as far to say that none of the games on this list are bad. Alright, enough of that, let's go. Number 30, Super Mario Bros. 35. This was one of the many events Nintendo did for Mario's 35th anniversary. Mario Bros. 35 was an online game similar to Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99, F-Zero 99, there's a lot of these games now. The premise of this game is that you're plopped into a game of Super Mario Bros. You and 34 other players must play through the game, and the last one standing wins. I know what you're thinking. If you don't move, you can't lose. This is where the timer comes into play. When the timer hits 0, you're eliminated. To increase the timer, you have to kill enemies and beat levels. This gives you an incentive to not only play, but play fast and well. But what makes this a lot harder than classic Super Mario Bros. Is that every time someone kills an enemy, it appears in someone else's game. This includes Bowser. Super Mario Bros. 35 is a really fun battle royale game, but the reason it's at the very bottom of the list is mainly because you can't even play it anymore. And even if you could, it gets a little repetitive after a while. It's far from bad, but it's meant to be more of a novelty than anything else. Number 29, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Again, not a bad game, but Home Circuit is definitely more of a novelty. The idea here is that you set up a track in your own home, customize the hazards, and race to your heart's content. The thing with this game is you have to either have a big house or be super creative. Ideally both. Because of that, I'm ranking it towards the bottom purely because of accessibility issues. But hey, if you do have a big house and or are creative, this game is a total blast. Creating tracks around your house can be super exciting. And it's really cool how the entire soundtrack from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is in this game too. There was a ton of work put into this game by Nintendo, and they did an amazing job with what this game turned out to be. But again, it's not meant to be taken too seriously, which is why I have it ranked a bit poorly. Number 28, Mario Tennis Aces. As most of you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Mario Tennis games, but I did find this one to be really solid. The character roster is massive and has very unique oddballs like Blooper, Chain Chomp, Fire Piranha Plant. While the stadium selection is a bit limited, we have enough options to keep the game interesting. But what I'd argue is the best part of this game is the story mode. The story itself may not be all that interesting, but the idea behind leveling up Mario through tennis matches, mini-games, and even boss fights is really cool. I think of this as one of the stronger Mario Tennis games, but I still have it ranked low on the list because tennis does get repetitive after a while. Once you get good at this game, all it becomes is hitting a ball back and forth. Number 27, Mario Golf Super Rush. Again, this is a strong Mario sports title, but there's just a lot of games on this list that exceed what this game has to offer. Mario Golf Super Rush has some of the most unique courses we've seen in a Mario Golf game thus far, with courses like New Donk City and All-Star Summit. The main selling point of this game is speed golf. The idea here is that once you hit your ball, you have to race to where it landed before you can take your next shot. Each stroke adds 30 seconds to your time, so there's still an incentive to get it to the hole in as few shots as possible. Each character has different stats and abilities that shake up this game mode pleasantly and add tons of variety. Mario Golf Super Rush also has an incredible story mode just like Mario Tennis Aces. You'll play through different golf courses, increasing your stats as you become a pro golfer around the Mushroom Kingdom. There's nothing wrong with this game, but the Mario sports titles in general just have a tougher time competing with the other Mario titles. Number 26, Mario Strikers Battle League. This is the one Mario sports franchise Nintendo brought to the Switch that didn't do so well in my opinion. The only reason I'm placing Battle League above Mario Tennis and Mario Golf is simply because the overall gameplay of Mario Strikers is more engaging. Mario Strikers Battle League just lacks the same gameplay charged had. None of the characters have unique abilities or playing styles, which makes this game feel very bland as a result. One of the big things that was supposed to make this game more interesting was gear. I've ranted about gear plenty of times on this channel. By equipping gear to characters, you can alter their stats, which is cool, but the problem is you have to grind like mad to afford it. This kinda kills all motivation for obtaining it. The biggest feature of this game though is Battle Leagues. Battle Leagues are online teams you can join where the owner customizes the uniform, the stadium, the fans, all that stuff. Then you compete against members of other Battle Leagues using the strikers made by each member of your own Battle League. It's not a bad idea, but it got old pretty quickly. There just wasn't much keeping people around. Mario Strikers Battle League lacked way too much content at the end of the day. Assuming the Switch 2 gets to revive the Mario Baseball series, considering the Switch 1 didn't, I hope that game doesn't fall to the same fate as this one. Number 25, Mario and Sonic at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. It's weird knowing that this is most likely the last game in the Mario and Sonic series. It was probably about time anyway, as the games were getting pretty stale. Who knows, maybe Nintendo and Sega are gonna make a legit crossover game for the Switch 2. Anyway, this iteration in the Mario and Sonic series was alright. As always, it's a collection of Olympic minigames featuring two of gaming's biggest icons. Although because of the pandemic, this game managed to be the closest thing we got to the actual 2020 Olympics, until they eventually did the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 instead. Aside from some of the minigames that appear in this game's story mode, there's not a whole lot added to this entry in the series. I mean, even the rest of the story mode is just playing the minigames, but as different characters. Technically, the retro-style minigames are something new in this game, but you kinda just play them once and then never touch them again. Number 24, WarioWare Move It. Again, WarioWare Move It is mainly a collection of minigames. Or in this case, microgames. The reason I have it ranked higher than Mario and Sonic is because, like I said, the Olympic minigames were starting to get old. WarioWare Move It is a classic WarioWare experience, with many microgames involving motion controls. I feel the WarioWare series struggles quite a bit from repetition, so I do hope the next WarioWare game changes the formula or something. Number 23, WarioWare Get It Together. This one could be interchanged with Move It depending on personal preference, but Get It Together offers a much more unique experience. WarioWare Get It Together allows you to play the microgames using different characters, which creates a lot more replay value as there's different ways of playing. This kind of addition is just what the WarioWare series needs. Again, you could interchange this with Move It, but I like the variety of Get It Together more. Number 22, Super Mario Party. After Nintendo tried desperately to change the Mario Party formula, it was a breath of fresh air to have the series go back to its roots. Well, sorta. This game was a huge step in the right direction for the Mario Party series, but it still clung to some of the elements from the previous Mario Parties a little too much. Not only that, but this game horribly lacked content. There are only 4 boards. 4. The original Mario Party had 8. And while there are a large number of minigames, 80 to be exact, they're all so boring. None of them really interests me that much. There is fun to be had with this Mario Party, don't get me wrong. I've played it a ton since it came out, and it does have its moments. Sadly, it was just the awkward middle ground between the good Mario Parties and the bad Mario Parties. I don't think this is a bad game at all. I just think it needed to let go of trying to be different. Number 21, Mario Party Superstars. The people complained and Nintendo listened. Trust me, that doesn't happen very often. After everyone said they wanted Super Mario Party to be closer to the original games, Nintendo made Mario Party Superstars, a celebration of the classic Mario Parties. This game was also kind of a second attempt at the top 100. There are once again 100 minigames here for you to play, and if I'm being honest, this is a much better selection in my opinion. My only issue with this game is that it focuses on the N64 Mario Parties a bit too much. Don't get me wrong, the N64 ones are great, and I get that Nintendo was trying to listen to us by going back to Mario Party's roots. But I think they could have given the other 7 Mario Parties a bit more love. I mean, Mario Party 8, 9, and 10 have 8 minigames all in total. Now yes, their minigames weren't nearly as good, but it just feels odd. Plus, there were some great boards from the GameCube Mario Parties and even Mario Party 8 that I think could have been added as potential DLC. I get why 9 and 10's boards weren't added, but there was a lot more they could have done with this game. Okay, I'll stop complaining since I actually really do like this Mario Party. Aside from a smaller number of boards, this Mario Party has pretty much everything you could ask for, from fun minigames to online play. You really can't go wrong booting up this one. It's a very solid experience all the way around. Number 20, Super Mario Party Jamboree. I was thoroughly impressed with this Mario Party. If I'm being honest, this is probably my new favorite in the franchise. The game has 7 really fun boards to choose from, 2 of which are from previous Mario Parties. The game also has over 110 minigames, which are all mostly really fun to play. You can't go wrong with this Mario Party whatsoever. It's a total blast. On top of the boards and minigames, there's some really cool new game modes added as well. The main one is Party Planner Trek, where you must complete minigames and defeat bosses to earn mini-stars in order to help Kamek plan the party for everyone. It's a fun side mode to complete. You can also check out Motion Island, where you can play a bunch of minigames focused around motion controls. These games won't be for everyone, but they're implemented nicely and offer some chill stuff to do when you're bored of the main game. The more exciting game modes are Koopathon and Bowser Kaboom Squad. Koopathon has you playing a set of coin minigames. Each coin you collect moves you 1 space forward. The goal is to race around the course before anyone else. There's lots of chaos, especially with items coming into play. Bowser Kaboom Squad puts you on a team of 8 players, and the goal is to take out Imposter Bowser on this chaotic map. You'll play co-op minigames and load up this cannon with bombs, all to take out Imposter Bowser within the time limit. The last feature in this game I want to discuss is Jamboree Buddies. In party mode, a Jamboree Buddy will spawn around the map. If you manage to walk past them, a showdown minigame will commence. The winner will obtain the Jamboree Buddy. A Jamboree Buddy basically has you do everything twice. This is usually an advantage in the case of getting a star or landing on a blue space, but it can also be a disadvantage, especially when landing on a Bowser space. My only real critique of Jamboree Buddies is the showdown minigames kinda ruin the pacing of the game a bit, and they can get a bit repetitive because of how long they are. Plus, there's only 10 of them in total, so you do start to get tired of them. It's a fairly minor criticism, but it's there. It feels weird ranking the 3 Mario Parties so low on the list considering how fun all of them are. The Switch had one of the best Mario Party lineups we've gotten in a long time. It just goes to show how good the games ahead of these ones are. Number 19, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. We've reached our first Wii U port. Captain Toad is a very underrated game in my opinion. You traverse several puzzle levels as Captain Toad where you're unable to jump. Obviously this game won't be loved by all, but it's incredibly charming and has way more work put into it than it's given credit for. Plus, the Switch port of this game came with DLC that adds levels themed around Mario Odyssey. All of these are super well done. They may not be that over the top, but they're a welcome addition nonetheless. Number 18, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Everyone's been asking for a return to this style of Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. While a new game would have been nice, this remake is almost as good. Seeing all the remade cutscenes is super fulfilling, and the gameplay is incredibly well polished. Each of the levels are super fun and relaxing to play, and the puzzles are just as satisfying as they've always been. The best part about this remake is the 2 brand new worlds Nintendo added. The original Mario vs. Donkey Kong only had 6 worlds, but Nintendo added Merry Miniland and Slippery Summit to spice up this remake. Each of these worlds comes with its own unique puzzles and mechanics not found anywhere else in other worlds, yet they don't feel out of place at all. The only thing I think this game is missing is a level builder. The DS Mario vs. Donkey Kongs all have level builders so that you can create your own levels and share them with the world. This is exactly the kind of game that would benefit from a level builder. And it adds so much replay value to the game since you'd have an endless supply of levels to play online. Anyway, I digress. This game is still loaded with fun levels to play, making it a very solid experience on the Switch. Number 17, Princess Peach Showtime. This is a much better Peach spin-off than Super Princess Peach. Many times on this channel I've talked about how Super Princess Peach was not a fair portrayal of the female protagonist. Thankfully, Nintendo went a much different direction when developing a Peach game for the Switch. In Princess Peach Showtime, you'll become a theater geek and assume the roles of many different characters to make for a very dynamic gameplay experience. From fighting off foes with a lethal sword, to solving crimes, to becoming a superhero, Peach can do it all. You can even customize her dress, which is a nice touch. It'd be nice if the dresses were more unique from one another, or even if there were references to previous games, but hey, it's better than nothing. The constantly changing gameplay keeps you on your toes and unsure of what to expect next. Obviously, this isn't meant to be an over-the-top experience. What it's meant to be is a charming spin-off featuring gaming's most iconic princess. And I'm not sure if this is me overthinking or if I'm onto something, but I felt the overall message of this game was that women can be anything they want. I think that's an important message and is a far more positive portrayal than Super Princess Peach. Number 16, Yoshi's Crafted World. I've mentioned many times that I tend to have a harder time getting into Yoshi games for whatever reason. It's not that they're bad, I just have a harder time, that's all. I also tend to be picky when it comes to 2D platformers in general though. Anyway, Yoshi's Crafted World is the sequel to Yoshi's Woolly World. It's a very unique platformer with loads of brand new mechanics. Of course, the difficulty isn't super high considering this is a Yoshi game, but it is what it is. There's a lot that can be said about this game, but we'd be here for hours if I got caught up in the specifics. Yoshi's Crafted World is the charming experience it should be. Number 15, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. While this game remains virtually the same as the Wii U version, there's still some improvements made. For starters, you can now play as Toadette. This is slightly more interesting than having Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Toad again. Plus, Toadette comes with a unique power-up, the Super Crown. The Super Crown allows Toadette to turn into Peachette. Peachette can glide through the air and boost as well. It's just the acorn suit. The only difference between the two is that Peachette will automatically boost if you're falling into a pit. You can also play as Nabbit in Mario U rather than only Luigi U. I don't know why you would, considering it takes any sort of challenge out of the game, but you can. The other minor improvement is that Player 1 is no longer forced to play as Mario. It doesn't change anything, but it's nice either way. Overall, it's still just New Super Mario Bros. U, which isn't a bad game by any means, but the new changes make it feel just a bit better. Number 14, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It pains me to put this game near the middle of the list because of how well made it is, but it just goes to show you how strong the Mario games on the Switch were. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is hands down the best Mario Kart out there. It took the original Mario Kart 8 and not only fixed every possible issue, but doubled the amount of content within the game. There's twice the amount of tracks at a whopping 96, the character roster is quite a bit bigger with some fan favorites added in, and the game has legit battle tracks now. Literally the only thing that is somewhat missing from this Mario Kart is mission mode, but I don't even miss it with the amount of content that's here. This Mario Kart has some of the best tracks ever made and adds some of the most unique ones we've seen in a very long time. To me, this is the definitive party game. This game's legacy is something to behold. Number 13, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now we're getting to the bigger titles on the Switch. These are the ones I tend to look on more fondly. Starting with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. To my knowledge, there isn't a single change to this game besides the graphics, but it didn't really need any changes to begin with. Although it is weird seeing the character models get updated, but the animations are unchanged from the 3DS version. Especially when Luigi's Mansion 3 has some of the best animations Nintendo's ever made. Luigi's Mansion 2 is criminally underrated in my opinion. Sure, it's a more linear approach, but that makes sense for what was initially a handheld game. Well, this version is too, but it can also be played on a TV, of course. The gameplay of Luigi's Mansion 2 is really fun. It has its issues, but each mansion you visit has tons of cool areas to explore and missions to complete. Pretty much my only major issue with this game is the boss fights are way too easy. But other than that, this is an incredibly solid experience. Number 12, Luigi's Mansion 3. I always found this to be the best one in the trilogy. I get some of the arguments for why the original is the best, but this one just feels so fleshed out in comparison. Granted, there's still some issues with the combat, but it's certainly improved since the second game. And each floor of the hotel is super distinct and offers an experience far different than anything we've seen in the last two games. Plus, like I said, the animation quality in this game did not need to go this hard. I mean, just look at this. This is movie quality right here. I love this game so much. Number 11, Paper Mario: The Origami King. While this Paper Mario still isn't perfect by any means, it is a step in the right direction. Origami King feels much more complete than Sticker Star and Color Splash, but still lacks the personality behind 64 and the Thousand Year Door's RPG style. Instead, this game has the ring system, which makes you line up enemies in the best way to attack them. It's alright for a bit, but you really start to miss the old mechanics. At least this game brought back partners. Sort of. They only join you for a little bit and don't attack unless they feel like it. But besides missing the RPG mechanics, this isn't a bad game at all. It's got that iconic Paper Mario sense of humor we all love, a large intriguing world for us to explore, and decent, yet odd boss fights. There's still a lot to love about this one. Number 10, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I have a huge soft spot for this game. It certainly has its issues, don't get me wrong, but it's one of the most charming Mario games on the Switch. The Rabbids may seem like an odd addition at first, but I find their antics don't distract from the game at hand, and even elevate its sense of humor. In this adventure, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, and their Rabbid variants journey through 4 distinct worlds, defeating enemies on large battlefields in turn-based combat. As you progress, you'll be able to upgrade your weapons with coins, and improve each character's abilities using the skill tree. In between battles, you'll solve puzzles to keep moving forward. This game is incredibly addictive as the combat system is super fun and allows for many different strategies and outcomes. And once you beat the main game, there's a DLC for you to get where you get to play as Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is the most interesting character in the game as he has the ability to climb walls, throw objects, swing from vines, and more. The possibilities you have using Donkey Kong are endless. The major issue with this game is its difficulty spikes. Around partway through World 2, but more so in World 3 and 4, the battles you face take multiple attempts because of the number of enemies you have to defeat, but also just how unbalanced they are. It starts to get irritating after a while. But otherwise, this game is very fun and worth trying out. Number 9, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. This game is 1000% the better of the two. For starters, while some of the battles are definitely on the difficult side, they're far less frequent and irritating than Kingdom battles. This game also has a far more open feel to it than Kingdom Battle. There's lots of places for you to explore on your adventure, offering fun challenges to complete. Even the combat has been tuned up. Now you can roam around freely as each character while still being able to perform all the same moves. It makes planning out your attacks a lot easier since you can visualize more easily where each character will be. We have most of the characters from the first game returning with the exception of Yoshi and Rabbid Yoshi, but the new characters more than make up for it. We have Rabbid Rosalina, a sleepy rabbit obsessed with finding the inspiration for her cosplay. We got Bowser, do I really need to say more? And lastly, we got Edge. At first, I didn't know how to feel about a random OC, but Edge's place in this story feels really cemented as we begin to learn about her connections to this game's main villain, Cursa. What I love about this game is how much it leans into giving each character a colorful personality. Watching the cutscenes and interactions between our heroes makes for a charming game overall. Number 8, Super Mario Maker 2. This game is simply phenomenal. The content here is practically endless since new levels are made and uploaded daily. It's super impressive what people are able to make within this game. If building's not your thing, you still have tons of levels to play, both online and made by Nintendo. Nintendo has made a bunch of levels for you to play on the side in story mode. You can even unlock new elements by doing so. And if you are a builder, this game gives you unlimited creative freedom. There's so many elements, game styles, and level themes for you to explore. And brand new to this game is the Mario 3D World style. While the levels are still in 2D, of course, you can add elements from 3D World to spice up the gameplay with something new. There's so much to say about this game that if I kept going, we'd be here for hours. Number 7, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Everyone's familiar with 3D World. The game is full of fun, bite-sized levels. Of course, this game's major criticism comes from how linear the game is. So what does Nintendo do when they port it to the Switch? They add Bowser's Fury, a side mode where you get to explore an open world filled with elements from 3D World containing 100 cat shines to be collected. I've said this 1,000 times, I really wish Nintendo put more time into this side mode. It's incredibly fun, but it feels way too short for how much potential it has. It easily deserves to be considered its own game alongside 3D World, but because it's treated as a side mode, it doesn't get to live up to its full potential. All it really needed was maybe another 100 cat shines, and that's kind of it. I get it's not supposed to steal the spotlight from 3D World, but another 100 wouldn't have been that big of a deal. However, I digress, as Bowser's Fury is a surreal experience filled to the brim with excitement in every second it offers. Fury Bowser's attacks are thrilling to avoid, and fighting him is even better. And of course, it's great to have 3D World on the Switch in all its glory. Number 6. Super Mario RPG. Getting this remake after all this time was really surprising. The original was way before my time, so to be able to experience the game this way was a treat to say the least. Super Mario RPG is one of the most iconic RPGs out there. Considering the original was made back in the 90s, it follows the same style and tropes you'd expect to see in older RPGs, which isn't a bad thing at all. Each character has their own fighting style and tactics that make choosing your party very challenging. And despite only appearing in this game, Mallow and Geno are full of personality and very lovable additions to Mario and the gang. One of the cool new features in this game is triple moves. By timing your action commands properly, you can build up this gauge. When it's full, depending on the combination of characters you have, you'll get to do something special, like unleashing a strong attack or healing your party members. It's a very useful addition to the battles in this game. Super Mario RPG is hands down one of the best RPG experiences Nintendo has ever made. Number 5. Mario & Luigi Brothership. Another great RPG experience. After waiting years for a new entry in the Mario & Luigi series, we finally got it. Mario & Luigi Brothership is a solid return for this series. It has its issues like slow pacing and a linear design, but the updated combat is brilliant and the graphics are stunning. Mario and Luigi have many more abilities, both in battle and in the overworld, that constantly keep you on your toes. And all the characters in this game are lovable as ever. They all have such deep personalities and contribute to the story in a meaningful way. Plus, by the end of the game, the difficulty ramps up the perfect amount. The final boss took me a handful of tries to beat. While it's far from being a hard game, it knows how to give you a challenge by the end. Number 4. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Of course this remake cracks the top 5. This is one of, if not the best RPG Nintendo has ever made. All the characters are full of personality, and love for Mario, apparently. Each world is very distinct and offers a vastly different experience from the others. And the combat is basically flawless. The game constantly adds new elements to keep things fresh and exciting. You might think it'd get overcomplicated, but everything is introduced in an easy to understand way. A lot of people's problem with the original was the amount of backtracking you had to do. Well, the remake fixes this issue with one simple room. You can now use these pipes to travel back to any of the worlds quickly and effortlessly. This will forever be known as one of the best Mario games of all time. Number 3. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. As I said earlier, I'm not a huge 2D platformer guy, but this game just blew my mind. Mario Wonder has by far the best level design we've seen in a 2D Mario game ever. The game feels so much more polished and complete than any 2D Mario that came before it. You can equip several badges to give yourself abilities to make each level different. And I haven't even gotten to the best part yet, Wonder Flowers. These things do all kinds of weird stuff. From making pipes sentient to turning you into a booger, the possibilities are endless. Many of the effects are even references to previous Mario games. The main issue I have with this game is the boss fights. There's a huge lack of them, and they're all Bowser Jr. Aside from the final boss, of course, which, aside from being a bit on the easy side, is actually kind of phenomenal if you ask me. This is one of the best mainline Mario titles we've ever gotten. Number 2. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. 3 of gaming's best experiences, all on one cartridge. Very little has been added to each of these 3 games, but did they really need it? This game could have been enhanced a bit more. Specifically, it would have been awesome to have redone visuals, but that is kind of a long shot. I can't even picture Mario 64 with modern graphics. Although I am more than happy settling for the games all being HD on top of Mario Sunshine being brought into widescreen. Weirdly enough, there's also a music player mode on the main menu. It's nothing crazy, but it's a welcome addition. While it does suck that Galaxy 2 was left out of this one, who wouldn't love having these 3 games on the Switch? Number 1. Super Mario Odyssey. the best Mario game ever made. I will fight that until the day I die. Each world is immaculate and has endless detail. Sometimes it's fun just to pop in this game and explore. Mario Odyssey is full of fun platforming, fun bosses, and impeccable charm. The main gimmick of this game comes from being able to capture enemies and replace their consciousness with your own. That's actually really messed up, but it makes for awesome gameplay. Being able to play as all these enemies adds a ton of new possibilities. And on top of that, you can also play dress up with Mario. This game has so many outfits for you to collect. It's a lot of fun to get them all. Mario Odyssey is the definitive Mario experience on the Switch. It has everything you could ask for and more. Every Switch owner needs to play this game. I love this game to death, and I couldn't imagine putting any other game at number 1. And that's all the Mario games on the Switch ranked. I'm really gonna miss this era of Nintendo. Practically every game was a banger. I can only hope for the same as we move on to the Switch 2 era. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing as it really helps me out a lot. Okay, bye.